Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Lead with Love podcast with Dr. Q, where we talk about love, leadership, and real life lessons that actually matter. And on this episode 11, we're going to talk about the lost art of listening. And if you're right here, right now, remember, it is not by accident. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. So let's jump in. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all a story about a student. She changed my life and almost got me arrested at the same time. Her name, she knows her name, but I'm going to say her name. Her name is Brandy Braden. And she was one student who tested literally every boundary. She challenged every single rule and she pushed every single button that existed in me. And I remember the day that she walked into my Spanish class. Sí, yo hablo español. Estaba una maestra de español. And as usual, I was passively aggressively. I called her out in front of the whole class. And as cool as a cucumber, baby, she looked at me dead in my eye and said, "B, I'll get here when I feel like getting here. And ain't nothing you can do about it." Y'all, I had never encountered a student as smart and simultaneously as mean and completely disrespectful as Miss Brayton. And after that day, I knew that I had to make a very important decision in my life, in my career, and in my mission. See, the interactions between Brandy and I were getting increasingly toxic. And at the end of the day, I knew that as the adult, as the teacher, as the leader, I was the one that ultimately was responsible for making the necessary changes, even though it was hard to do. Because what was I supposed to do? I couldn't give up on her, kick her out of the class, did that, but she'd be a problem to another teacher. I was completely at a loss because my pride, my feelings, but more importantly, my ego were out of control, raging with anger. Who would she think? Who did she think she was talking to? And the last thing I wanted to do was like her and forgive her. No, ma'am. But I remember the book that I read when I first became a teacher called Conscious Classroom Management by Rick Smith. And he suggested that you should spend time with your most difficult student. And the strategy stuck out to me the most was to ask the questions to get to know her and to listen to her. And I remember the day I asked Brandy if she would stay after class, and I apologized for being a little petty and unprofessional. Then I asked if she would agree to having lunch with me every now and then. She agreed, kind of barely, like whatever, Miss Miller. But over the next few weeks, I remember I really got to know Brandy, the human being that I was serving. And the more that I learned, the worse that I felt about how our relationship had unfolded and my part in it. Brandy was the youngest of 6 children. She grew up facing severe hardships. Her mother's struggle with addiction led her into repeated incarcerations, and Brandy was shuffled between homes, frequently in unsafe environments. She was perpetually in survival mode. And as I listened to her stories, I realized that her behavior had nothing to do with me. It wasn't personal. And when I took the time to just listen to her, oh, it humbled me. It changed how I would approach difficult students for the rest of my life. And that is what my life's work is about, helping other teachers and leaders do the same. So today, over 20 years later, me and her, she's one of my closest friends. She's graduated. She's got her graduate degree. She owns a home. She's raising 2 very spirited children. That's what she gets. And staying connected with her has been a gift. And it all started because I stopped talking and I started to listen. Sorry, y'all. It always gets me emotional. So, here's the first hard truth that everybody needs to hear. Most leaders, teachers, think that they're listening, but you're not. You're waiting for your turn. You're formulating your response. You're thinking about the next meeting. You're checking your phone under the table. Don't act like you don't do that. But you're not actually listening. According to research from Harvard Business Review, they say that the average person listens at only 25% efficiency. That means that 75% of what people, you only listen to 75% of what people tell you. You're missing it. And here's what's worse. According to a study published in the International Journal of Listening, people can tell when you're not really listening. They can feel it. And when they feel unheard, they disengage completely. John Maxwell, y'all know, that's my guy. He teaches that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and nothing communicates I don't care faster than you not listening to them. So let me ask you a very hard question. When was the last time that you actually listened to someone without interrupting, or without offering solutions, or without steering the conversation back to what you wanted to talk about? If you can't remember, you have a listening problem. And that problem is costing you everything in every relationship. Yeah. So, what is my promise to you? By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly why leaders talk more than they listen, and why that is destroying your leadership every single day. And you're going to learn the 3 reasons that listening is a non-negotiable, probably the most important in the Just Care framework. And you're going to also get one action step that will transform how your team experiences you. And this comes straight from where? Absolutely, Lead with Love, chapter 4, Lead with Love, 8 heart-centered strategies for exceptional leadership. And again, y'all know I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to tell it like it is. And in quarter 3, weeks 27 through 30, we're going to do a full deep dive on take time to listen. But today, I need you to understand a great leader is a good listener. I'm going to say it again. A great leader is a good listener. So, let me be honest, though, about why we don't listen. There's a few reasons. One, we think that we already know. You've been doing this job for years. You've seen the problems before. You know what the answer is. So why are we wasting time listening when you could just tell them the solution, right? Well, here's why. Because this time might be different. It may not be the same as you think. This person might have information and that you don't have. And even if you do know the answer, people sometimes don't just need solutions. They need to feel heard. Number 2, we're afraid of what we'll hear. If I really listen, I might hear something that I don't want to deal with. I might hear that my leadership is the problem. Uh-oh. Or I might hear that my strategy isn't working. I might hear pain that I don't know how to fix. So what happens is we avoid listening because we're afraid of what it will require from us. And another reason why is we think that talking equals leading. Somewhere along the way, we got the message that leaders are supposed to have all the answers, and we just don't. Leaders are supposed to speak with authority. Leaders are supposed to direct, instruct, and command. But here's what John Gordon teaches. Oh, one of my favorite books in the Energy Bus. Love your passengers. And one of the ways to love them is to listen to them. Leadership isn't about talking the most. It's actually about who listens the best. And you probably have never heard that before. Leaders, we have to close our mouths and open our ears. Okay. So let me give you all 3 reasons why you must become a better listener. Not should, but must. Reason number 1, listen to build relationships. When you as a leader, you listen to the humans that you serve, it builds strong relationships that inspire and motivate a culture of collaboration, team, and even family. Listening allows us to, basically respect and understand people and even ourselves better. I know what you may be thinking. Who has time to stop and listen? Dr. Q, do you have time? Well, here's the truth. When leaders invest time into people, people will invest time in the work. Prioritizing time to listen may seem very counterintuitive, but it breeds an environment that can move at lightning speed because people feel important and want to be there. And more importantly, they want to be there and be their best. Reason number 2, listen to learn, y'all. As leaders, we sit in a seat positioned to see the bird's eye view, which is very important when making decisions. You have to see the big picture, but that seat often lacks the ability to know what's actually happening behind closed doors, in the nooks and in the crannies of the school, of the organization, of your home. And those valuable insights are learned through intentionally listening to those who are the heartbeat of the organization. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry. The people who hear, see, and the people that do the work. And when we listen, we learn how the work we think we're leading is actually going. We identify the gaps, we identify the misconceptions and huge successes that don't make it to the boardroom or the principal's office or wherever the C-suite is. And we need to know. And when we listen, we learn. Reason number 3, listen to connect. Listen, by asking our people questions about themselves, when we learn who they are and not just what position they hold, oh my God, we learn who's a caregiver to ailing parents battling dementia, who's suffering from depression and anxiety, who's going through a divorce and left to provide for their children alone. Those are important things. And asking questions affords us the opportunity to connect with the people that we serve, giving us insights on how to better serve them since they sacrifice so much to serve our organizations, to serve our schools, to serve our children. And when we listen, we connect to the core of other people as humans. And more importantly, don't miss this. They connect to us. This is so important. If you don't watch any of these episodes, this is the one that is probably the most important one, not just for you as a leader in your workplaces, but also in homes. Here's the second hard truth that I want to say, that the people that you're not listening to, oh, they're planning their exit. Oh, you better believe it. Maybe not today, maybe not this month. Oh, but they are updating their resumes. They are looking for job postings and they are having conversations with recruiters. And you have no idea. You know why? Because you're not listening to them. And according to research from Gallup, feeling heard at work is one of the top 3 factors that determine whether someone stays or leaves their job. Not the salary, not the benefits, not the perks, but feeling heard. And let me share a story from my survey. Remember, I asked over 1,000 people, please share your stories, leaders, people that are being led, etc. And one person wrote, I had a leader who did not lead with love when I was having trouble with a student and not receiving support. And the leader laughed and made a joke out of the student's inappropriate behaviors, not intervening or addressing the situation. They said that the leader did not respect their feelings of being uncomfortable, and the leader made them feel unsupported, making the remainder of the year pretty uncomfortable. The leader didn't listen. And what happened? It made them feel unsupported. Another one wrote, I'm going to find this one. Another one wrote, I once worked under a principal and that was like highly directive and micromanaging. And there was very little to no room for autonomy or trust, and the environment led to burnout and discouragement among all the staff. What was missing? Listening. That principal talked at people and not with people. And here's what you need to understand. Your best people don't need you to have all the answers. They need you to hear them. And when you don't, they leave. And they tell everyone why they left. And your reputation as a leader who doesn't care will follow you. Is that the legacy that you want? No, that's not the legacy you want. Absolutely not. So, what does it require for you to listen? Let me be real about what listening actually costs. Let me be very, very honest, because to listen to people requires time. And you can't listen on the run. You can't listen between emails. You can't listen while you're scrolling on your phone. Real listening requires you to stop, to be present, to give someone your undivided attention. And yes, that can be inconvenient. Believe me, I know. But it's also what love looks like. That's the action of love. Another thing that listening requires is humility. Listening means accepting that you don't necessarily have all the answers and that someone else might see something that you've missed, that you may actually need to change course based on what you hear. And that can be hard for leaders, especially those who've kind of built their identity on being the expert. Another thing that listening requires, y'all listen to this, discipline. You have to resist the urge to interrupt, to fix it, to redirect it, or to make it about you. I struggle with that. You have to sit with silence, with discomfort, with someone else's pain or frustration or confusion. Go find the poem, The Invitation. It's good. Because that's not natural for most leaders. But listen, it's necessary. Y'all, it's a lot. And listen, in week 3, weeks 27 through 30, we're going to do a deep dive on taking time to listen. And we're going to cover a few things in those podcasts. One, the Brandy Brayton effect, right? I'm going to share the full story. We're going to cover 5 core listening practices that you can implement immediately and how to create listening systems in your organization. Because if it's not a system, it's not happening. And what to do when people tell you very, very hard truths. But for now, I just need you all to commit to one thing. You will become a better listener, period. And here's your assignment. And it's not even an assignment. To be honest with you, if you're on this lead with love journey in this movement, it's non-negotiable. Okay. 1, schedule 3 20-minute listening only conversations this week. You are not going to fix anything. Pick 3 people on your team. Tell them, I just want to hear from you about work, life, whatever is on your mind. I'm just going to listen. Then do exactly that. I have a strategy that I talk about in this book on how I've done that over the years. You're going to put your phone down. You're going to close your laptop and you're going to look at them in their eyes. You're not going to interrupt. You're not going to problem solve unless they ask you to. You're just going to listen. Take notes if it helps you kind of stay focused, but your only job is to hear them. And at the end, you're going to say, thank you so much for sharing all those things with me. And I'm going to think about what you said. That's it. No fixing, no defending, no explaining. Just listen. Do this 3 times this week. Then notice what shifts in how people begin to interact with you, specifically those people. And before I let you go, I want you to remember, lead with love. 8 heart-centered strategies for exceptional leadership. Y'all, you know where to find it. It's on Amazon. And chapter 4 is all about taking time to listen. And it includes the full story about Miss Braden, plus the 5 listening practices that are going to transform your leadership. If you're not going to meet me here at this podcast, meet me in the book. Next week, we're going to preview the next letter in Just Care. We're building momentum towards the deep dives coming for the rest of the year. And I am so excited because I've just kind of been giving y'all teasers. So let me bring this home after you go get your book on Amazon. Let me bring it home. We started with Brandy, so let's keep talking about her. If I hadn't stopped talking and started listening, I would have missed one of the most important relationships of my life. I would have missed learning about resilience and survival and strength from a 16-year-old who had more wisdom than I gave her credit for. I would have missed the opportunity to see her transform from a student who used to cuss me out to a friend who stands beside me 20 years later. All because I took time to listen. You all have a Brandy, and they're waiting. The question is, will you stop talking long enough to hear them? I think you can do it. I think you have to do it. So, thank you all so much for being here with me on the Lead with Love podcast. And as usual, if today's message spoke to you, or if it convicted you to share it with a leader who needs to hear this, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss next week's episode. I'm so excited about it. And remember, y'all know leading with love isn't a one-time decision. It is a daily choice. Until next time, be well and lead with love. Thank y'all.